Race 2 of the 2023 Pirelli Dutch Round getting underway. Decent start again from Jonathan Rea, not quite as close to Alvaro Bautista in the run down towards turn 1 this time around. And it is Toprak Razgatlioglu who makes a pass for second position as Bautista tries to scamper away. Alex Lowe's will be coming swiftly through from the back of the field. There's bunching towards the back of the field. They're 4 abreast further down the order. Philip Ertl just about getting around the outside of Michael Ruben Rinaldi. Big moment there for Michael van der Mark as well. It's Bautista then who leads from Razgatlioglu in second, Rea in third, Locatelli holding fourth ahead of Bassani. Decent start for Egerter. Scott Redding trying to get on terms, a bit of bar banging there between Egerter and Redding. Vieques made a position up to P8 and Remy Gardner P9. Danilo Petrucci rounds out your top 10. Fine start from Bautista, exactly as per the form book as far as he is concerned. The difference in this race too is that fine start from Razgatlioglu.
Yeah, for the first time we've got Toprak trying to chase down Bautista. We'll see if he can get close enough to try and just put the bike down the inside. But you can see for Alvaro, in these sections of the track, he is able just to leave himself with enough of a margin. That's been the story over the course of the weekend so far, where when he's been in a scrap with Rea and Razgatlioglu, he can open up just enough of a lead to hold them off. But Toprak into the chicane, he could be able to give himself an opportunity.
Bassani through and clear on Andrea Locatelli. That is a fight for championship position as well. Remember, Bassani trailing Locatelli in the race for the bronze medal, with Jonathan Rea also in the mix. But the top 3, the 3 most recent world champions, are your race leaders: Bautista, Razgatlioglu and Rea, as Locatelli tries to respond against Bassani. The two of them went side by side there into the Geert Timmer curve.
That's Bradley Rea. Rea had been battling with Baz, Lowe's, Philip Ertl on the opening couple of laps. And that's van der Mark at the chicane.
The home man, Michael van der Mark, comes to grief, separated from his machine and looks to be in some discomfort. Some concern immediately for Michael van der Mark, who's had his injury woes and worries in recent seasons. Misfortune for him. And we're seeing what happens to Michael van der Mark, and a spectacular high side. No wonder it took him a couple of minutes to get to his feet. That's a nasty incident.
You can see the yellow flags in the background. That would have been at turn 1 for Xavi. So it's been an action-packed half lap with turn 9 and the chicane, and then Toprak trying to come through.
More action as Toprak Razgatlioglu catches Alvaro Bautista by surprise. Is there now an opportunity for Jonathan Rea to find his way past as well? Bautista will try to respond. It's been a chaotic opening few laps in race 2 here in Assen, as Bautista holds the inside line. Determined stuff from Razgatlioglu there, but he's run a little bit wide now. He's going to be passed by 2. Rea comes up the inside as well. Bautista hits the front again.
Yeah, and Johnny able to pick the pocket of Toprak there, but not able to also make that move without costing himself time. How many times in the past have we seen Rea and Razgatlioglu get in a scrap, cost each other time during a battle? Rea at least able to latch onto the back of Bautista, and he's been able to at least see someone overtaking Bautista at this stage. Maybe that's going to give him a little bit of confidence in these early laps.
Riding on board then with Toprak Razgatlioglu as we come through the chicane now. Jonathan Rea faster than Bautista coming off that final turn. Bautista doesn't have particularly good speed coming off turn 18, but he's got enough down the start-finish straight to hold on. A quick recap on where we are on lap number 4. Bautista, Rea, Razgatlioglu, Bassani, Locatelli, 0.8 of a second covering them.
Very quickly, good to see that it looks like van der Mark's been able to get moved from that exit of the chicane as well, so hopefully it was just a case of getting the wind knocked out of him after that crash.
Egerter and Redding 6th and 7th, just 0.6 of a second between them. Nicola Ekwona a second further back in P8, looking set for his best results of this weekend. Thus far it's been a disappointing start, scoreless start as far as the number 7 Honda is concerned. But Bautista re-establishing himself at the front of the field. Razgatlioglu came from nowhere to find his way through, and Rea has followed in Razgatlioglu's tyre tracks and made the same pass now to lead. The problem for him is that Bautista will be able to immediately respond. Jonathan Rea deep on the brakes holds on to the lead.
That's where in yesterday's race and also in the Superpole race this morning we did see that Rea was a lot faster mid-corner in those sections compared to Bautista, but it's the exit of turn 11. Bautista starts to wind it on nicely with the power of that Ducati V4.
You've got to love Jonathan Rea being able to capitalise on every possible advantage. He's watched Razgatlioglu make a move, and he thinks, I'll have some of that. Bautista, though, will respond. Ray was a little bit sluggish through 11 and 12, and Bautista comes through and capitalises on the strengths of that Ducati. Ray not close enough to jab a move down the inside into the gear timber curve, and he's run a little bit offline, and Razgatlioglu now will have the drag race advantage in towards turn number 1, and Bassani's menacing as well. Bassani's going to go 3 wide here with Razgatlioglu and Ray just about holds on to third. Bassani settles in behind him.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of debris out there as well. It looked like a plastic bag that Bautista lost a little bit of momentum with, so that's also allowed Toprak to make the move on Ray without costing himself time and then be close to Alvaro Bautista. The exit at turn 5, this is where we've been able to see Bautista very strong all the way through the weekend.
Lowe's has now moved up into 12th position as Jonathan Ray goes down. Jonathan Ray from 3rd position, and it really has been a demolition derby here in Assen. Jonathan Ray, the latest victim.
Turn 9 there for Jonathan Ray, and that's where we saw Bradley Ray have his crash. We see a lot of crashes through there, actually, just from riders pushing a little bit too hard and just asking a bit too much at the front. That's one of the most popular, for want of a better word, crashing spots around this track. He's having to ride so hard with that Kawasaki to have half a chance of being able to stay at the front of the field.
Here goes Andrea Locatelli on Axel Bassani. He's through for 3rd position, and Locatelli, who's been on the podium in each of his 2 previous visits to Assen, is looking to make it 3 in 3 years. Bassani will try to respond, capitalising on the high-speed run towards turn 6 and 7, and Locatelli on the switchback. Brilliant move there for 3rd position from the number 55 Yamaha.
Yeah, you got to love that from Andrea as well, because down through 6 and 7, it's so fast on the entry to there. Probably one of the fastest corners we come through all through the season, and he's got the confidence to hold his line and know that he's going to be able to come back through. Good riding from him, and also from Bassani. He's trying to make the move, and he gets in front but not quite able to hold the line.
Loris Baz, unfortunately, has gone down in the final sector of lap number 9.
That's a fast crash as well for Loris. That looks like it's over at turn 15.
Bautista leading 2.7 seconds ahead of Toprak Razgatlioglu. His teammate Andrea Locatelli in 3rd, 2.8 seconds back. Bassani 2/10 down. Then it's Egerter 1.2. Redding 2 seconds further back, but it does look like a matter of time now until he's going to be passed by Remy Gardner, and it could be as soon as lap 13. Remember that Scott Redding gradually went backwards in the final third of race 1 yesterday, and he tumbled quite dramatically back. Here comes Remy Gardner once again on his tail.
Yeah, Remy was really fast on the exit there, and maybe had to take a little bit of a shut off to avoid Scott Redding, but he's got a lot more grip underneath him right now.
We see Michael van der Mark waving to the crowd here in Assen. Do hope that everything is okay as far as van der Mark is concerned. He's had a miserable run with injuries in recent years. So Remy Gardner now up ahead of Scott Redding. We knew that pass was going to come. Now the question is, how much further will Scott Redding fall? Because the last third of race 1 yesterday afternoon, he dropped dramatically backwards. The next in line to have a go at him will be Danilo Petrucci, and that gap was 1.4 seconds to Redding. It is now just 9/10 of a second. So Redding once again struggling in the closing stages of race 2.
Yeah, and this is where it's important for Gardner. Just get the head down and make sure you're able to stretch away, because Petrucci's going to be coming through as well on Scott. But Scott's pace last time around dropped off by about 0.5 of a second. That's why we've been able to see Petrucci close up.
Bautista leads on lap 17 now with 5 to go, 3.4 ahead of Razgatlioglu. Locatelli 3.4 behind his teammate, and then Axel Bassani still on his tail. Redding doing a good job here to keep up with Gardner. That's where your race is in 6th position, and further back the rest of those places looking, to be perfectly honest, to be settled as things stand. Just 6th, 7th and 8th, that's where the group is. Relentless pace from Alvaro Bautista. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why he's so far clear at the head of the field.
Yeah, that's also no surprise. Well, you can see his fastest lap, a low 34. Last time around, half a second slower than that, so very good consistency there from Alvaro, considering this has been a track that's been very difficult on the front tyre life in particular. And for Alvaro, it's been a case of just making sure you hit the front and then just maintain that gap as it is. 3.5 seconds to Toprak. Toprak's doing a pretty good job considering on Friday he was absolutely nowhere. He was really disappointed and angry about how the bike was handling. He was struggling on corner entry, struggling on corner exit, and struggling to readapt to the bike as much as anything else, he said. But as the weekend's worn on, he's been able to find a balance that works for him, and he's been able to have 2 podiums so far and then on course now for a 3rd.
We're watching the fine style of Alvaro Bautista, making it off the final turn. And it has been poetry in motion as far as he is concerned. 4 seconds now, his advantage over Razgatlioglu. Bassani then versus Egerter. We have seen Dominic Egerter with strong late race pace before. Bassani being urged on by his Moto Corsa team. They will know that Egerter is coming for him. He's still running in the 1 minute 34s, 1:34.984 last time around from Dominic Egerter. Where's he finding that pace from with only 2 laps now to go?
He was in the 35 zeros before that as well. Dommy's just been able to maintain that low 35s all the way through this race. It's been impressive from him for the rookie. We do know that the Yamaha is always a bike that works well for pretty much all riders when they jump onto it. You can use a super sport style, you can use a traditional superbike style, you can be heavy on the corner entry like Toprak. It's a very adaptable bike, and it also manages its tyre well. And you can see for Bassani, it's been a tough weekend in some ways for Bassani, but he's going to be able to give himself the chance of holding on to a top 5 finish. But is it going to be 4th or 5th for him?
Petrucci swarming all over his tail, so Redding did well to scrap with Remy Gardner for as long as possible, but he is now looking vulnerable for that 7th place.
Yeah, the good thing for Scott is that bike's fast in a straight line, so he's going to be able to exit turn 5, hopefully hold on to that all the way to the end of the straight, and then you've just got to survive until the end of the lap. But Assen is made for last lap overtaking moves, and that's for whether it's for the win, for podiums, or in this case for that 7th spot for Petrucci.
And only 0.2 of a second now between Bassani and Egerter. That's for 4th position. So we've got 2 potential last lap scraps to be determined here as Danilo Petrucci hunts down Scott Redding for 7th place.
Yeah, and it's going to be the exit of turn 11 is the key for both of those riders. Certainly keep an eye on Egerter onto 11, onto turns 12, 13, 14. The Yamaha works well through there.
Dominic Egerter, the scraps are getting higher and higher as far as he is concerned, and we'll see whether he can indeed get through. There's nothing to choose between himself and Axel Bassani. Off the final turn to take his 40th victory in the Superbike World Championship, the 400th for Ducati. Alvaro Bautista takes his first hat-trick here in Assen.
In 4th position, and we now have 3 Yamahas